Laws of exponents dividing monomials, lesson 4.3 notes. Example number 2 continued. If you look at A, all we did was divide. For B, all we did was divide. For C, all we did was division. D, same thing, just division. But for E and F, I can't divide until I have simplified the numerator and the denominator. Well, the denominator for E is already in simplest form, but what do we need to do in the numerator? What I need to do in the numerator is multiply. I need to multiply. So, I'm going to go ahead and put my bar down, rewrite my 45n to the third, and now I'm going to multiply my numerator. 5 times negative 81 is negative 405. Notice how I have just one m term, which means I just bring it down. So m to the second. If there was an m in the other monomial, then I would add the exponents. But because there's only one m term, I just bring it down. Same thing with the n. There's only one n term, so I just bring it down. Now that we've simplified the numerator, now it's time to divide. So we're going to start by putting negative 405 over 45 in our calculator. I'm not going to bring up the calculator. I'm going to let you know that negative 405 over 45 is negative 9. So I'm going to cross out the negative. I'm going to cross out the 45. I'm going to cross out negative 405. And since it's just negative 9, remember when it comes out as an integer, it goes in the numerator. The only thing left to divide are my n terms. The only thing left to divide are my n terms. So I'm going to completely cross out n to the third. It has the smaller exponent. And 4 minus 3 is 1. Well, once again, everything has canceled out in the denominator, leaving nothing but a 1, so I don't need to worry about the denominator. My final answer will be negative 9, m to the second, n. Once again, I don't need to worry about putting the 1 as an exponent on the n. Okay, so again, I had to multiply first, and then I divided to get my answer. For F, well, if you look at the bottom has this outside exponent. That means we have a power of a product. Remember in the other lessons where I said that that would be POP. We would write down POP for power of a product. The numerator actually has two different operations. It also has the parentheses, the monomial, raised to this outside exponent, so it also has power of a product. It also has multiplication. Go ahead and put parentheses around this. All right, well, what would we do first? Would we do the power of a product? Would we take care of that exponent first, or would we do the multiplication first? Well, we got to follow the order of operations, and the order of operations tell us to do the outside exponent first. So we're going to do it on top also power of a product. So we're going to do the power of product on top, power of the product on the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to take care of is this monomial here. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to write negative 4 squared. I took this coefficient and I raised it to that exponent. Negative 4 squared. Again, I'm not doing anything with that 5g to the fifth, so I'm just going to write that down. In parentheses, I've got 5g to the fifth. All right, now I'm going to do what's in the highlighted part there. I'm going to do power of a product. So I'm going to keep it in parentheses to show the multiplication. Negative 4 squared is 16. Remember to use the parentheses when putting that in your calculator. So again, Negative 4 squared is 16. And now we're going to multiply the exponents, the rainbows. So 2 times 1 would give me f to the second. 2 times 3 would give me h to the sixth. So again, I squared the negative 4 to get positive 16. 1 times 2 gave me f to the second. 3 times 2 gave me h to the sixth. Now I'm going to do the same thing in the denominator. So now I'm going to take care of this monomial. I'm going to start by putting the negative 2 to the third power. Negative 2 to the third power. If you put negative 2 to the third power in your calculator, you would get negative 8. And now I multiply the exponents. 3 times 1 would give me g to the third. 1 times 3 would give me h to the third. All right. Can I divide now? Well, when I look at this, I still have parentheses in the numerator, which means no, I cannot divide yet. I have to go one more step before I can divide, because I can still simplify the numerator, and I can simplify the numerator by multiplying. All right, so I'm going to multiply the numerator, which means my denominator is going to stay the same thing. So I'm still going to have negative 8, g to the third, h to the third in the denominator. In the numerator, 5 times 16 is 80. And then notice, once again, like the previous problem, the variable terms in the numerator are all different. So do I have anything that I need to add, any exponents that I need to add? No. Now, if the g were an f, I would add those exponents. Or if the g were an h, I would add those exponents, and so forth. But because each one of those variable terms is different, then I just bring them down. I'm going to bring them down in alphabetical order. So I would bring down f squared, then g to the fifth, and last h to the sixth. Now I am ready to divide. Now I'm ready to divide. So start by putting 80 over negative 8 using the fraction button in your calculator. If you did that, you would get negative 10. So I'm going to cross that out. I got an integer answer, so the negative 10 would go in the numerator. There's no f in the denominator, so I move on to my g terms. G cubed is the smaller term. Cross that out. 5 minus 3 is 2. H cubed is the smaller term. 6 minus 3 is 3. So, once again, there is nothing left in the numerator which would make that a 1. Since it's a 1, I don't need to write it. It's in the denominator. I don't need a 1. So what is left on top? I've got negative 10, f squared, g squared, h cubed. All right, now I know these problems are getting more difficult and more time consuming. If you have any questions, if I do anything that you don't understand, please do not hesitate to ask. Make sure you have everything written down, including this stuff that we wrote over here on the side. Pause your video to do so, and if you have any questions, please let me know.